this is first video on the channel, I guess it's gonna be. I'm not really sure at the moment, but that's what it seems like right now. It's a cute doggy. But either way, man, it's for me anyway, it's been a long time coming. You know, I've been wanting to do this for a while, but you know, life happens. But either way, just realized I forgot to strap up my helmet, so you know, we should probably do that. Be right back. You know how when you leave somewhere and you're about to do something and you just can't get the feeling out of you that you forgot something? Well, I believe that was my something. But of course, you know, 99% of the time it's you haven't forgot a thing, but you know. Okay, so anyways, yeah, my name is Tanner, but of course you'll probably get to know me as Mad Dog Motorcycles or Mad Dog Motos, you know, whatever shoe fits. As you probably saw at the beginning of the video, I'm riding a 2008 Honda CBR 600RR. Not my first bike. It's actually my second bike. My first being a 17 Honda Rebel 500. So I had to keep it in the Honda family, of course. And you know, as a matter of fact, this is actually my dream bike from when I was a teenager, man. I would just sit I would just sit on YouTube and watch exhaust videos of the of this bike, specifically the 2008. Yeah, I've been a big Honda fan really my entire life. Matter of fact, the first bike I ever rode, not necessarily a street bike, was a Honda dirt bike, and I cannot remember what it is to save my life. It was a buddy of mine, and it was a 250, I believe, CR250, something like that. It's probably too big of a CC. It's probably a lot less than that, like 100 or 150. I don't know too much about dirt bikes, but either way, he was teaching me how to ride it, and I knew how to drive manual. I had already known how to do that, and I went to go you know, take off. You know, telling me how the clutch works on a motorcycle, of course, pretty similar to the clutch on any manual vehicle. And what got me was the throttle, because obviously I was not used to twisting a throttle for acceleration, and you know, younger me got a little nervous, and I accidentally whiskey throttled. I definitely whiskey throttled the shit out of it. And thankfully I was on dirt, like soft dirt, so instead of the bike like shooting out from underneath me, the back tire was just digging into the dirt. And he was like, let off the clutch, man, let off the clutch. Of course, I was too busy freaking out, you know, trying to hold the bike back. It looked like I was trying to hold back a massive dog or something, because I was leaning back on the bike, holding the handlebars. The back tire was digging into the ground, and he just ran over and pulled the clutch in. And I'm very thankful I had him there, and I'm also very thankful I was on soft dirt, because if not, that could have been pretty ugly. But you know, second time around was much better. I understood the way the throttle worked, because I put it in neutral, and you know, having rev it up, and they should have done that before, but I didn't think about it. So, but either way, you know, I'm actually heading to work right now, so I figure what better time than to make the intro video on a nice beautiful day in February. It's supposed to be 70 today, which is insane, because the past couple Februaries we've had pretty bad winters, ice storms really, in both this past couple Februaries, except for this one. It's been weird. It's been pretty warm all month. You know, I had cold days here and there, but either way, I'm rambling. Yeah, so about the bike, it's a 2008 CBR600. It's got arrow headers that I put on there. It had a Two Brothers slip-on when I bought it. and that was pretty much it. When I bought it, I just had it slip on, so I put headers on it, full exhaust now, K&N filter, you know, say what you will about K&N, but I've always used them, and I've never had bad luck. And more recently, the bike just got tuned by Chad Wells down in Louisville on Commonwealth Motorcycles, and he installed a quick shifter for me, and put launch control on it as well, which is pretty sweet. I'm not ballsy enough to launch it yet, but it holds it like $9 grand, so it sounds pretty wicked. See if I can hit the launch control. I've got my hat on the back of my bike, and hopefully I don't lose it. That would suck. But yeah, man, I mean, I had this bike for about a year now, and you know, I've loved every second of it. Like I said, it was my dream bike from teenager Tanner, and it's pretty surreal that I own one now, because, you know, I'm definitely glad I didn't get it when I wanted it, because I was around 18 at the time, and definitely not responsible. I was into fast cars then, and I had a WRX STI and a Coyote Mustang, and I was definitely getting into trouble with those things. But here we are, you know, a little older, 25 now, which is kind of weird to say, and a little more self-control. Definitely, you know, the old version of me who likes adrenaline and going fast, you know, still there, but you know, I can a little more responsible, I guess I could say. One of the best things I ever did, actually, before I started motorcycling, well, really at the beginning, I took the motorcycle safety course through a Harley dealership in my local town, and man, I'll tell you, I had the Rebel at the time, and I rode it a couple times on the street, and man, I had no fucking clue what I was doing. I almost wrecked a couple times, so thankful I did not do that. But after I took the course, man, I was just a, you know, a much different rider all the way around. Much more comfortable on the bike, and you know, mostly because I knew what I was doing. But either way, man, it's one of the best decisions I ever made was to take that class. And hopefully coming up soon, I've got a track day planned in April. I've got leathers, and the bike's actually finally ready for me to take it to a track now. Actually, hold on, I'm gonna see if I can. How risky is this? No. I was gonna pass that truck, but that probably wouldn't be a good idea. I could probably have done it, but just not, you know, probably should be a little more chill. But anyways, yeah, I've been looking forward to going to the track for a while. I've had some setbacks with the gear. My suit that I ordered was from 1X. Shout out to those guys, because they were super easy to work with, and they built me a pretty rad suit, and came with a pair of gloves that my dog chewed up literally the first day, because stupid me left them sitting on the kitchen table, and apparently dogs love leather, so he turned it into a pretty nice chew toy for himself. And I told him that, and I was like, hey man, you know, can I let's pass this van right here. Oh man, this bike sounds so good. I mean, it's always sounded good. It's always sounded good, but man, the headers have just made such a difference. Not necessarily in like loudness. I mean, you know, sure, it's a little louder, but you know, ultimately just in tone. I mean, it just sounds so angry, dude. I mean, it just sounds pissed off. Like when you're you know, into it, it's just like screaming, and then when you're at lower RPM, you know, cruising around, it like growls almost. I mean, it just such a wicked sound. Here we go. That was one of my, you know, not so responsible moments. I thought the guy was turning, decided to go around him. He didn't turn. I shouldn't have hesitated. Oh, hold up. That sucks. Oh God, this bike sounds so good. I don't know what it is, man. I don't know if it's just me, like, not hitting the shifter hard enough going into second, but this thing false neutrals with a quick shifter so much. And, like, you know, obviously a big part of me thinks it's me not hitting the shifter hard enough, you know, into second, because it's a hard shift. Because everything else is so smooth, but obviously, you know, one of the two is definitely the harshest shift. But yeah, anyways, back on the hill, of course he didn't fucking turn when he was signaling, and then kept going for whatever reason, or it would have been easy pass there. But, you know, regardless, that was stupid of me. But I wasn't really worried about hitting the car, because I knew that I had easily had the speed and acceleration to get past both of them, no problem. I just didn't know what that guy was going to do, so I was, you know, considering just going in between the two cars, which, you know, either way, I'm not going to sit on it for a while, but that was not very smart. But you know, I do drive those back roads quite a bit, and I feel like I know them pretty well, so I get a little too overconfident in some of the passing areas, because you know, I don't know what it is about that road, but it has the dumbest pass zones, like literally in turns. But like the wide open straights, are double yellow. I just don't understand it. Like, it would be like this, okay? Like coming up here, like this, you can see far enough ahead of you, and it's double yellow. I would have probably guessed because of maybe some of the houses, I don't really know, but like, you know, in a turn up here, and this is on a lot of roads in Kentucky, for some reason they'll turn into like the pass zone, and it just doesn't make a lot of sense. But you know, as far as like plans for the channel, you know, just kind of inform you guys, I don't really have a lot of stuff planned for it right now. You know, of course, go out and make videos, do stupid shit, you know, group rides, to show you guys some of the beautiful back roads we have here in Kentucky. But ultimately, one thing I definitely want to do, you know, I wouldn't say I'm a huge movie buff, but I definitely love watching movies and talking about them with people, and like kind of, you know, reviewing them. So I want to do like a movie review series, while of course, you know, on the bike. I think that'd be really cool. I don't know what I'm going to call it yet, but I'm going to think of something clever, I should say. I really hope my hat is still back there. I think it is. But the bike that I'm using is a Purple Panda mic, and it, you know, it's double, it's got double, you know, whatever you call them, the thing that goes over the microphone and like kind of blocks the wind. I can't think of the name, but it's got two of those on it, so, you know, hopefully the wind isn't too terrible. I know it won't do justice with how this bike sounds. I mean, it just screams, man. And especially like the mid to high range, because CBRs, you know, they typically have most of their torque in the kind of like the middle area, or the middle RPM range is where they make most of their torque typically. Whereas, you know, something like an R6, they make most of their power up top, you know, where it counts for a sport bike. That's kind of why they dominate the track most of the time. But yeah, Honda's, like CBRs, are just such a nice street sport bike. They're a little more comfortable than your standard sport bike from the factory, but they, you know, you don't have to be at the top of the RPM range to get into most of your power. So it, you know, it makes it really nice to ride around the street. Yeah, see, I don't even like using my quick shifter in first to second. Like if I'm in it, you know, like getting down, I'll probably use it, because it seems to do a little better if I'm like full throttle, which is strange. But you know, I know with the track, I got one of the people that I work with, he actually races for an organization, and you know, he's saying a lot of tracks don't have first gear turns, so I'm not too worried about it as far as track. But you know, on the street, I don't like to use it very much, and when I do, obviously you saw what happened back there earlier. The false neutral is brutal, and it's not set up for GP shift either. It is standard shift, because on these bikes you just kind of flip the shifter and it turns it into GP shift, but there's radiator hoses in the way, and you know, the guy that tuned the bike didn't want to tie him back or anything, which I understand. And if I do it myself, I'll have to take it back to him and have him change the pressure on the quick shifter, so it probably won't happen. As much as I would like it to, it's not the end of the world for me, because that's all I know with standard shift anyways. I've never ridden a bike that has GP, which I know in just practical usage it's much better. But I'm not sweating it really. A few days ago, pretty big storm here, like you know, more wind. I mean, it was crazy, like 50-60 mile an hour winds, which is a lot for any place, but you know, here really you don't get that kind of weather very often. So there's a lot of blown over debris in the roads, and trees knocked over, and fences knocked over and stuff. So I've rode the past couple days, and I've been riding a little more cautious, because I don't want to turn a corner and there be a huge massive tree in the road, which is very possible, because I've seen a lot of that around here. As you can see, every road in this beautiful backcountry is littered with trees. As far as like immediate things I want to do with the bike, it's pretty much complete. You know, I'm not going to do any crazy suspension upgrades or brake upgrades just yet, because the brakes are fine for what I do. I did upgrade the brake lines. It's got stainless steel brake lines, and I work at a Nissan dealership, so I use Nissan GTR brake fluid, which is still .4, but supposedly has a little higher boiling point. The fork seals were leaking when I got it, so the same guy that I bought the bike off of actually helped me do the fork seals, or he did it himself, because I don't have that skill yet. When I resealed them, I used a higher weight fork oil, 7 weight to be exact, for those out there that, you know, understand that kind of thing. Makes it for a little stiffer ride, but it helps it feel more planted in the corner, which obviously I want for this kind of machine. I'm a fairly new rider. This is my second, technically, I guess you could say 2.5, 2.25 riding season, because when I started in August a couple of years ago now. And I've learned a lot. I've made a lot of mistakes, as one would expect when they start to learn how to ride a motorcycle, and I've definitely gotten lucky a few times. so nice when I'm cruising and I'm sitting back on the bike to just be able to kick my foot under there and throw it up a gear into sixth. So nice. But I mean, overall, it's a Woltec. You know, I use Woltec. Is what he tuned it with, the software, the company, and that's who's quick shifter I have on the bike. And don't get me wrong, it works really, really well. I'm very happy with it. You know, it's when I'm, you know, going through the gears, it shifts crazy quick, and I mean, just the acceleration is unreal on this bike. You know, I know it's a 600. I've never ridden a leader bike, but this thing is unreal. I mean, for the street, I can hit 70 in first gear on this bike, which is just crazy to think about. I mean, this bike is such a monster, and I couldn't imagine much more. Especially for back roads and stuff. Like I couldn't, I mean, people do it, and you know, I could do it, but you definitely cannot open up a leader bike on the back roads like you do this thing. I mean, you would just, it's just, they're just too fast. You know, I plan on getting a leader bike one day, but I don't plan on getting rid of this bike to do it. It's just too fun to ride, and I mean, the work I put into this bike already, I couldn't imagine giving it up. I hope you enjoyed to me rambling. You know, I might cut to when I'm off work and go back home. But if not, you know, I appreciate all of those that, you know, want to watch my channel, and those that enjoy the bike. You know, everyone says I have a lot of great things planned, which, you know, I have a lot of things I want to do, and hopefully it turns out for the best. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching me. Have a great day.